Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to focus on showing you my 9-year-old fourth graders math shelf. These are all the resources and books that we use for math. We use these items for the fourth grade. He has used some of them in the third grade, and we will continue to use some of them in the fifth grade. So let's go ahead and get started. So this here is a wonderful math resource. It talks about the addition sign, subtraction sign, different quadrilaterals, polygons, fractions, and so forth. This is a great toolkit to have for, I would say, kindergarten all the way through the fourth grade. The topics range for those grade levels. I love this series here. It's from the Great Courses, Mastering Fundamentals of Mathematics. This is the workbook, and it also comes with a handy-dandy DVD where they're actually teaching the concepts of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, probabilities, square roots. This is awesome. This here, I would recommend using it from the third grade all the way through high school. You may also be able to use it in the second grade. I'm not sure if a second grader would be willing to sit there and listen, but he is entertaining. He's not boring. But again, we started that in the third grade. This here is math problems. I am big on math problems and logic when it comes to math and thinking and analyzing. So this is really, really great. It has awesome math problems. This is the third edition. They might have a newer one, but again, when it comes to math and like subjects like writing and language arts, it doesn't matter what edition you have. So this edition is what we are using, and it's a great resource. I'm not going to go over these other resources because I do have a video. I'll link it to the description box below that talks about all the math resources that I use to supplement our math curriculum. So let's move on. Life of Fred. Life of Fred is a pretty good series, especially for kids who are readers and who may not be strong in math, or for kiddos who are readers and has a very good grasp in math. It's just a way to do math through comprehension, through reading comprehension. So I think it'll be great for beginning math, maybe from kindergarten or first grade through, second grade. I think this is a great supplement as well. I don't think you can just, for me and how I like to do math, I would not just use Life of Fred by itself as my own math curriculum. I would use it as a supplement in addition to. So in the third grade, he did, I think it's called, not Edgewood, Honey. He did third grade in the Honey. And for fourth grade and fifth grade, we're going to do ice cream and jelly beans. So that's going to be completed by the fifth grade. In fifth grade, we're going to start fractions. And there's another one, a red one that I do not have, called decimals and percents. I will get that. But this is for I would use this for fifth and sixth grade. So fractions and decimals and percents, I would use for fifth and sixth grade. We did not start this in the fourth grade. Let me skip to that. Let me skip this one really quick. Saxon Math. Saxon Math, some people find it to be very boring, but I like this way of math. This is how I learned math. My child does not really like doing Saxon Math, and the reason why he doesn't is because he's required to rewrite the problems, and he hates having to rewrite problems. But I have him do that type style math because when he's in high school and when he's in college, he's going to have to do that. So I want to get him into the habit of not just always doing his problems in a workbook, but also looking at math in a different way. As you already know, my child is enrolled in public school full time, so he has to do that anyway. They give him lots of worksheets in school. But again, for math at our homeschool, We use these as supplements or as resources to ensure that he understands what he's learning in school, in public school, and also to ensure that we are challenging him and giving him math that is beyond his public school grade level. This here says 5-4. We use this in the 4th grade. It says it's for 4th and 5th grade, but we used this in the 3rd grade, the end of 3rd grade, and we use this in the 4th grade. You can check out other YouTube videos to understand the difference between the different math curriculums. But Saxon Math, what they do basically is they introduce a concept. Once they introduce the concept, they do give you a lot of questions on that concept, and then they also provide a review on the concepts that you learned previously. And that's why I also love Saxon Math. It doesn't introduce a new concept and move very quickly. It introduces a new concept, gives you sufficient practice. We do not do every single question that they have out there. I'll give him evens or odds, or give him 3 or 4 questions depending on if he's mastered the concept or not. But again, a great reason why I love Saxon Math is because they always go back to what you've learned in all the prior lessons and give you a few problems just to make sure you didn't forget. So again, they do a warm-up, they introduce the new concept, they give you the lesson, they give you a few word problems, and then they go back and they give you questions or problems on concepts you've learned from the first chapter to the current chapter that you're on. I think this is an older edition, but again, with math, I do not care about the edition. Math is math. It's always going to be the same. I bought, I think this is a Becca. I bought a Becca because I just wanted to see what it was all about, what the rave was all about. And a Becca is, I would say, advanced. A Becca is not on grade level. It's beyond grade level. So although this says 4, in our school district, a lot of the things that they're learning here is in the 4th grade, but it also goes into what they're learning in the 5th grade here in our district. So I would say a Becca is for those students who have mastered their current math level and they are prepared to start the next math level. So for example, if your child is in the 4th grade and they have not mastered 3rd grade and they have no clue about 4th grade math, you would go down. I would start with arithmetic 3, although they're in their 4th. But my son, we have a very strong mathematic curriculum in our homeschool. I want him to be on a specific path so that when he's in middle school and high school, he can kind of complete his college prerequisites, math prerequisites, before jumping into his major. But that's a different video. So for Becca, I think it's great. It has color. He likes color. I just give him the problem on the board and he does the problems on the board. So when it comes to this curriculum here, I write it out on the whiteboard and he has to solve it on the whiteboard. So I basically use Becca to teach new concepts and to teach my lessons that we are learning. Let's jump into word problems. Again, I love word problems. So here's another way of introducing and having the child understand word problems. He does not write in the books. This book here, we do it together. So a part of our lessons, when I do the lesson on the board and we talk about it and I give him examples and we put examples on the board, this is a book that I work with him on, although it's kind of easy for him. Grade 4, I should have gotten grade 5. But we work through these problems together just to make sure he's thinking through the problems properly. Singapore Math. Singapore Math, it's okay, it's good. I do not use Singapore Math to teach him lessons. No, I use Singapore Math to just reinforce what he's already learning. So this is a workbook style. As you can see, he did not use it this year in the fourth grade. But I'm probably going to sit this aside and just save it for my toddler. So when she's in the 3rd or 4th grade, we'll go ahead and use that. But what I may do over the summer is, pull problems. I love to pull problems from different math books because it just has them think about math differently. I strongly encourage you, whether or not your child is enrolled in school full-time, part-time, or whatever your homeschooling philosophy or situation is, when it comes to math, allow them to do math, look at math, feel math, think about math in at least 3 different ways. My recommendation is 3 different ways. And you can figure out what those 3 different ways are depending on your style. So we went through Life of Fred, we went through Singapore, we went through Saxon, we went through Abeka, and we went through My Word Problems. This is the current book that he uses at his school right now. They're in volume 2. But as I explained to you in my prior videos, for math and language arts, I do purchase his books from Amazon, eBay, secondhand, wherever, just to make sure he has that resource available at home and I understand exactly what he's learning and I understand the pace that the school is teaching him so that I can use all my resources here to help him further understand what he's learning and to challenge him a bit more. Okay, let's move on to this. I love the art of problem solving. Beast Academy. If your child is really good at math and they're considered mathy, okay, mathy does not mean they get the answer right. Mathy means they understand how to think through a problem. They know how to analyze a problem. They can use information that they've learned in a previous course to figure out something they've never seen before. They don't cry about math because they truly love it and they can do it beyond their grade level. They are mathy. They're critical thinkers. So I would consider my son to be mathy. And mathy students does not mean you're a straight A student in math. Mathy students usually get problems wrong, lots of problems wrong, and they usually get a few bad grades. And that's because mathy students don't like to write the problem out. They normally can figure it out in their head or complete a problem in one or two steps. And they're getting problems wrong because they're working so fast or they're skipping steps that are not necessary to them and they get it wrong because they're required to write it out. And because they don't write it out or do it in the logical steps that they're being taught, they normally get it wrong. That's what happens to my son. So let's look at something. This, and I would say, although you see 3B and my son is in the 4th grade, this is a very rigorous program. Okay, very rigorous program. So I recommend if you're starting out, when we started out, I made him go a step down. So we started this at the end of 3rd grade that summer, going into 4th grade. And it was recommended by someone that we start a level below because it's new to him. And it is challenging. But if your child is doing math 2 grades above and they're not crying about it and it comes semi-simple for them, then you may start on grade level. So 4th grade, we did 3rd grade, level 3. 5th grade, we're going to do level 4. And in the 5th grade, I think in 6th grade, we're going to do level 5. I think they have 5 levels. They do. So in 6th grade, we'll do level 5. And then when he's in the 7th grade, we're going to go into the art of problem solving curriculum, which is more of algebra, trigonometry, geometry, things of that nature. So what I love about this is they give you a guide. And the guide is in a comic book format. And this is another reason why he loves this program. And I think boys will excel in this program, especially if they love comic books. He loves this thing called anime. So although these aren't animes, he says it just reminds him of it. So they teach the concept through animation. They teach the concept through pictures and a comic book style, a comic book feel. And he loves this. I hear him laughing when he's reading it. He's probably read each of these lessons 4 or 5 times each. Okay. And as you can see, this is this is considered grade 3. Okay. In this program for Mathy students, but they are doing algebra. Okay. And this is book C. So that's the book. And then in the curriculum, this is where, you know, they do the work. So he likes this book because he doesn't have to rewrite it. I do allow him to write it in the book. So as with all of my grading, I grade it the first time. I'll mark down how many he has wrong. And like this one, he had 1 wrong. So the ones that he had wrong, he has to go back and redo it and think about what he's doing. And then I will check it again. And once I check it again, if he gets it right, we go ahead and correct it. If he gets it wrong the second time, then we mark that page and we come back to it and we work at it together. So this is just so awesome. Okay. I love this book. Here's 3B. I did not get the 3B guide only because the concepts were really, really easy. 3B guide, the book was about multiplication, perfect squares, distributive property. These are the things we've already learned in the 3rd grade, so there was no need for me to buy the book, the guide for it, but I did buy the workbook for it. I did not get 3A because we've mastered this already. 3A is shape, skip counting, parameter, and area. So we have 3B, only the workbook. We have 3C, the workbook and the guide, and we have 3D, the workbook and the guide. And then again for the 4th level, I will get that over at the end of the summer, 2018. So when he starts 5th grade, he'll start level 4. So I love the art of problem solving. I cannot tell you how much I love this program. But again, don't just get it because you see all the colors and, oh my God, my child would love this. I think any child would probably love reading this because it's comic book style and it's fun. But the work, it ain't easy. Sometimes I look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did they figure that out? And I have to go to the back of the book and look at how they solved it. And I'm like, oh, that's how they figured it out. Okay, as you can see for this one, he had 5 wrong. And when we went back and did it, he got it wrong because he was going so fast. He was not paying attention. He did not convert his answer to a mixed number in order to help him figure it out. But again, this is level 3, guys. This is grade 3 for this program. And in many school districts in the 3rd grade, you are not learning about mixed numbers, reduced fractions, in the 3rd grade. That's 4th grade, sometimes 5th grade stuff. And you're not doing algebra until the end of 4th grade, maybe 5th grade. And their algebra is not simple items like 3A equals 10. So what's A? No, it's not like that. It's not simple like that at all. Here's another one. He got almost everything wrong, and he got this wrong because he did not pay attention. It says to put the fractions in simplest form, which means he has to reduce. So he got all the answers right, but I marked him wrong because he did not reduce it. So he was really upset, and I was like, listen, dude, I know you're good at this, but you have to pay attention to the details. You have to read your directions, underline the key facts in the direction to help you solve the problem, and then you can go ahead and solve. So yes, the answers were right, but in my book, they're wrong because you did not put it in the simplest form. So redo it. And of course, he redid it and he got it all right. Here's another page here. So I love this program. Super, super, super can't rave enough about this program. So now let's look at something else that I use to help supplement. I love this book here. This one here, they have a primary and they have a upper. I did not choose primary because the primary, I would say, is 1st grade through 5th grade. But I just decided to go with upper. Will I go back and get the primary? Yes. When my daughter is doing math, and maybe when she's in the 1st grade, I will consider, depending on if I found something else better, I will use that book. But this one is really good, I would say, for Mathy kids who are in 4th grade all the way through high school. But yeah, we don't do every single problem. I use this to reinforce. So, for example, let's say, where's the table of contents here? Oops, chapter 1. So depending on what we're doing, so let's say we're doing fractions. So if we're doing fractions in our lesson, then I would go to these pages. So let's go to page 68, and I would look at what kind of problems are they providing for the student. So we would go and we would do the introduction, and we would do this probably every single time I touch this book for a topic. We go to the introductory page for the topic, and we do it over and over again. Even if we are doing fractions in this book 5 times in a month, guess what? 5 times, I go to this introductory page and reread it 5 times. So let's say the first problem. So all this is the introductory page where it basically helps you understand what is a fraction and breaks it down. So we would go through this whole thing every single time I hit this book if we're touching that topic. So here's the problem set. They give you a warm-up to just give you a taste. And they have level 1, 2, and level 3, and a genius level, depending on how mathy your child is. So normally, we always do warm-up, and we always do level 1. We'll do level 2 sometimes. We are not on level 3 or genius level at the moment. We have not that, I don't even know if you can do it. I just haven't attempted to do it. So they have various problem sets, and they have various levels that you can choose based on where your child is in their thinking skills and analytical skills when it comes to math. And we'll do this together. So I assign a problem. So let's say I give him problem set 6. I'll tell him, okay, do the warm-up and do level 1. So he'll take this book, he'll read it, he'll go to the whiteboard, and he will do it. And then I will have him explain to me, walk me through the process. How did you get that answer? What did you do? Write whatever process you went through, whatever problem you wrote out to figure out the answer, write it out, draw it, whatever. Talk me through it. How did you get it? And then we'll talk about it together and we'll check it. So I use this book to talk through math. This is a way that I get him to not only write the answer down or just tell me what the answer is, but he has to talk me through his thought process of how he got that answer. So I use that book, or this book, I use this book to help him understand how to walk through it and explain it. I also do the same with Beast Academy. I also have him do the problem by himself. If he has it wrong, he has to redo it, and then we do it together. And then as we're doing it together, he's explaining to me what he thought he was supposed to do and explain to me what he did to make his correction. So that's how we use that book. You'll also notice that I had some pre-algebra books, or Algebra 1.5. So in the 4th grade, although they do not teach algebra, I teach it to him in a simple form. I introduced it. So I introduced it in the 4th grade. So I like this book from Saxon Math because they take an incremental step to algebra, hence why it's called Algebra 1.5, which is pre-algebra, but I guess this is algebra before pre-algebra. So it goes through your basic addition, subtraction, division, order of operations, percents, decimals. So it makes sure that you understand those things, geometry, least common multiples. So it makes sure that you understand the basics. So it reviews the basics, and then it jumps into the pre-algebra. So I really like this book because it really takes the child through an incremental step of making sure they understand all the basics that are required to help them understand algebra, and they put it all together to help them get the concept. So I really, really like this book. But again, with Saxon Math, he does not like when I have him read the problem or write it out on another sheet of paper, and that nature. So for math, just to let you know, we use grid paper for math. I got this off of Amazon. So for math, we use grid paper, and that's how he solves the problems, and I find this to work excellent. So for this book here, pre-algebra and introductory algebra, same thing. It does the same thing. It helps to understand the basic concepts of math, and then it gradually leads them into pre-algebra. So this is explaining, you know, exponents, so 5 squared, 6 squared, 5 squared. What does that mean? How do you do it? Again, he has to write this stuff out on paper. I like this book also because it shows you, along with Saxon Math, it shows you another way of multiplying. Normally we see an X for multiplication, but this book uses a dot. So depending on what test he's taking now or in the future, he understands that this is another way of doing multiplication. This is another way of doing multiplication, and that it does not only come in this type of form. It can come in various forms. And again, they put math in words to make sure they understand it. Okay, so this book here, I introduced in the 4th grade. Again, pre-algebra, algebra 1.5, I introduced in the 4th grade. And we're going to continue using these 2 books in the 5th grade. And we're also going to use this book in the 6th grade. So these 2 pre-algebra books, again, will be used from 4th through 6th. I know this is a super long video. I wanted to apologize to you, but I just wanted to make sure that I shared all my math resources since we are math heavy. And for all those other parents out there who enjoy math, this is just a great way to see some of the curriculum, so you don't have to go out there and buy any until you figure out if it's for you. Okay, here's something else called Focus. So I bought these because these are areas that my son is kind of weak in. So geometry and probability and averages. Okay, so I did this resource, they have from addition to algebra to everything. It basically takes a concept and it focuses 100% purely on that concept for extra practice. That's all it is. So let's say for geometry, they have different levels from A through H, I think. So here is A. We started using this in 3rd grade. I did not let him write in the book because sometimes it's really difficult finding these resources, and I just decided not to let him write in the book. So I'll photocopy it, or I will put a sheet protector on it going this way, and he'll do it on the sheet protector or on the photocopied version. And this here is probabilities. Again, it just focuses on a specific math concept and helps your child further understand that concept with additional help. Another resource that I did not print out is called Math Mammoth. Super great curriculum. I use Math Mammoth just like I use Focus, because in her program she has areas of focus that you can print out. I purchased the PDF online version so that I can use it with multiple children and multiple times. And that program, to me, just, again, it's just like this Focus program. It helps you hone in on specific skills that your child may not be the best at. And it helps them further understand various concepts in math. And it also teaches math in a different way. So remember earlier in the video when I told you that I believe that you should teach math in like 3 different ways? So the ways that I teach math, one is through math through comprehension and word problems. So math through comprehension and math through word problems. I put that together as one way. The next way is like how Saxon Math does it. It's black and white, it's boring, rewrite it, learn new concept, master that new concept, and it also includes concepts from things you learned 3 months ago, just to make sure you are understanding it. The third way is providing challenging math, and I do that through Beast Academy and these pre-algebra books here. Okay, so hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully it wasn't too busy. I know I was moving a lot. I was talking a lot, but again, I just wanted to give you as much information as possible as to how we do math here at home. So here you go. Oh yeah, let me show you something else really quick. Hold on. So I'm in here in my closet. Again, our homeschool closet, homeschool room is the guest bedroom. So our guest bedroom is what we use for that. And I use the guest closet as my homeschool area where I house all my stuff. But here is some other resources that I have. These items here I purchased, like as you can see, these 2 pre-algebra books are a little harder. They're more of the high school level. So this is something we'll use at the end of middle school. Here is Abeka grade 5. So in 5th grade, we're going to use that. And we used Modern Curriculum Press, C and D. I used C. I used the C in the 2nd grade, and I used D in the 3rd grade. Modern Curriculum Press is very easy. I think it's absolutely below grade level, but if your child is struggling in math, or you don't have a strong curriculum at home for math, and you're not interested in challenging math, this is a good curriculum. And of course, you can see some Algebra 1, some math, 6th grade, 7th grade, the Life of Fred intermediate series, which is for 5th grade and 6th grade and 7th grade. And you can see some pre-algebra stuff with biology, physics, and this one is economics, which is more high school. I would say